Hello and welcome to Farm Space. I am at AGRITECHNICA 2023. I am at Grimme. I'm speaking to Frank Nordman. He's going to show me a little bit more about the machines that they've got on here. There's a self-propelled potato harvester, which is awesome. We'll get to see everything here. So remember to go and download the Farm Space app as well. Just go to the Play Store or the Apple Store, and then you'll be able to find it there to not miss any of our content. So yeah, let's have a listen. Frank, how are you doing?
Good. And yourself?
No,
Welcome
good.
on our stand.
Thank you very much. It's big and shiny and
Yes.
little South African boy, I'm a little bit overwhelmed here.
Yes.
Okay, so give me a little bit, just a quick background. Who is Grimme and what do you guys specialize in?
Well, Grimme is a family-owned company, over 160 years old, and we are the world market leader in the potato equipment business. We are very well known since over 25 years in South Africa with our equipment, and very good performance, and have a big market in South Africa, really doing well in the potato sector.
So I just want to show the people there, and this caught my eye now. So you've actually went and you've now changed the whole potato harvesting industry, and you've actually made a self-propelled potato harvester, and I think that basically this is one of them in front here. So explain to me quickly why.
People using self-propels mainly because of weather conditions, but also performance, and especially if you have a long harvesting period. A tractor is an addition to the trailed harvester, and it's more economically to go towards the self-propelled because you're using the machine 3, 4, 5 months in a year instead of like we do that here in Europe only for 1 month or 1.5 months.
So depending on how you do the application, and as you say, the performance, as I get it, is a little bit better because you've now got one purpose-built machine and not a machine that's being pulled by the tractor where inevitably there's going to be compromises.
Right, there's first of all, there can be compromises. And if I don't have the tractor available on the farm anyway, if you have to buy an extra tractor to pull the harvester, then the decision maybe is more economically to buy a self-propel and have the tractor included in the harvester.
Awesome. So explain to me quickly, we're looking at the one here, and it almost looks like a grader in front, the wheels that we've got here. So what is this front attachment? Explain to me quickly.
So the front attachment, this is what we call the home topper.
Yeah.
And the home topper is chopping the homes before you harvest the potatoes. This machine is called the Veritron. So it has different variation. You see that here at the front. We can interchange this machine very easily for carrots and onions as well.
Okay, so you can do that as well.
So you have one harvester for carrots, onion, and potatoes, basically.
So now you're getting to combine territory.
yes, almost, yes.
Okay, right, and then from there, you've got the what do you call this thing in English?
Well, this is the intake. With the share and the discs.
Yes.
That is pretty standard. And then you bring the potato dirt and vines into the harvester. You have the first, second, third main web. After that, you have what we call the multi-sep. If we move over here a little bit, you can see that. This is where all the vines and the clods are separated from the potatoes. And then here's the elevator. It brings it up to the next level. And from there's a conveyor into the hopper. You see the hopper here?
Yes.
We call this hopper a non-stop bunker. What does that mean, non-stop bunker? You can unload on the go. You can harvesting and unload on the trailers at the same time. So you don't need to stop. You keep going and you add capacity to your operation.
So I've seen the Evo working. Is this basically just the Evo that works on it by itself?
Right. This is the Evo 4-row that is a self-propel.
Awesome. Okay, and then and I'm guessing the 4-row is basically, is that the standard that you get it in, or is there bigger, smaller ones as well?
No, that is the standard. The difference is the row width, because in South Africa there's a lot of people running on 1.8 meter beds instead of 1.5 meter beds.
Yeah.
So you can change basically from 75 centimeter rows to 90 centimeter rows, depending on the operation and the yield, of course, you have.
But the width of the intake is more or less the same. That's
Correct, yes, yeah.
Okay, and what do we have here? What is this thing?
Here, this is our new receiving hopper that we have.
So now you must explain to me, because
basically what we do here is when we come with the trailers from the field,
yes,
and receive the potatoes, we dump the potatoes in here and clean the potatoes, size them, and then bring them into the washing line.
So that's basically in your packing house.
Right.
You bring them in.
Right.
And then
Yes,
you go
correct.
away,
Yes.
from there. And the select, where does that fit into the package?
The select is the new model that we have here, which is replacing the GT170.
Yes.
The GT170, that is what we call the bread and butter harvester in South Africa. So this is a new model with updates on the multi-sep, on the drive. We have, for example, if you look here, we have a Vario drive. This is a hydraulic mechanical drive where you can adjust your speeds of your webs infinitely independent from your mechanical drive on the PTO.
So that just means that then I can go at any speed for the tractor. I can slow down if need be, and the harvester will still continue operating at the correct speed.
Right. What you basically do with this is speed up and slow down the webs independently from the forward speed of the tractor.
And that helps, especially when you're getting into wet conditions and things like that.
Wet conditions, but also dry conditions, especially in the sandy areas, that you can slow down the webs, that you keep the machine full of soil. That is to reduce the bruising of the potatoes.
Yeah, because unlike other machines, soil is this machine's friend. It likes soil.
That's correct. Yes, yes.
And it's basically, I just want to check here at the front. Is it still your same design that you've got here? Nothing really changed in front?
The general design of the machine is the same. Obviously, we did some changes on the drives, but the hydraulic mechanical speed drive, the multi-sep changes, and the big cart elevator. The cart elevator has changed from 800 to 1200 millimeter.
Yep.
That is to get more capacity. That is the main changes we have done here on this machine.
So then we can just unload faster at the end of the day?
Yes. Well, if you have higher yields, you have more volume, or you can do more volume at the same time. Like in South Africa, you have high yielding crops with Mondial and Cifra, so there you can really move ahead and up your speed and get you increase of capacity.
And I'm guessing it's not just about, I want to say the grain guys can almost just make the auger turn faster. Doesn't really matter, but here you needed to make it wider because otherwise you would get damage on the potatoes if you just take it through the system quicker.
Again, we want to make this elevator slower instead of faster. And if we make it wider, we can make it slower because we have higher capacities. Everything of course is focused on minimum or gentle handling of the potatoes.
I'm with you. And let's get to this one quickly, where I think this is one of your the better inventions that I've seen. I had an interview with a farmer, and he basically were able to get away with 10% of the labor that he had before, just because of this machine. Was that basically because it's in Europe, labor is a shortage, That's why you went with this type of design.
Yes, this machine, obviously, the performance of the cleaning of the machine has increased, and this Evo 260 has a very special new option, which is a hydrostatic wheel drive.
Yeah.
And the hydrostatic wheel drive here in Europe, where we have wet falls and a lot of rain, is to harvest in very wet condition. Here for South Africa, especially for the Sunbelt, we need that hydraulic wheel drive to work in the sand, because the sand is very slippery, and we need the wheel drive that we can push the harvesters through the sand.
So what you're telling me is that thing pulls its own weight, doesn't matter where it is.
That's correct.
In terms of production and drive.
Because where normally in the Sunbelt, if the harvester is hard to pull and the tractor gets stuck and slipping, now the harvester drives itself and the tractor can pull the machine through the field.
That is awesome. And now this machine, what does this one do? Is it a basic reacher?
So this is what we call the GH Eco.
Yeah.
Like it's in Europe, it's a big topic that they want to reduce crop protection, chemical-wise.
Yes.
So this is basically a potato weeder. It manually weeds the potatoes until the umbrella is closed and the weed is not pushing anymore.
Ah, so it's a bit a manual one. And can I get it in different row widths? What do I?
Yes, you can get that in different row widths. And the main thing you can see here at the bottom, you have a wheel that runs on the side of the ridge, and then that knife cuts off the weeds. And you're constantly cutting the weeds, that the weeds don't come up and get in competition with the potatoes.
And I mean, the fact that your chemicals and everything has been going, the prices has been going through the roof the past 3 years, has that actually made something like this, where it's coming in price competitive, and it's not only about being more greener and organic and all those other cool things, but it now actually makes economic sense?
Well, economically it makes sense, first of all, and secondly, especially here in Europe, but also I'm sure it will come in South Africa as well. The laws are getting stronger and stronger to reduce chemical application in the fields on food, basically. That is the push that we have for such a machine like this.
Awesome. And is he specifically focused on potatoes?
This is specifically focused on potatoes, but can be also used in carrots.
So carrots as well. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's actually cool. Right, and then I wanted to ask you in terms of this. So we had the topper there on the front of that self-propelled, and I'm guessing it's basically this machine.
Yes, this is a trailed version or separate operation. If you have a trailed harvester, you can operate separately the topping action from the harvesting action. And this machine here is what we call butterfly.
Yeah.
So we have in front of the tractor a 4-row topper, and in the back two row toppers. So we can basically top 8 rows at a time, or 4 beds.
Now, and explain to me quickly, what does topping mean? What do you do when you top these things?
Or you can say vine chopper. The vines, the potato vines, we chop them off before we harvest them. And it's 2 things. First of all is to make the harvesting action easier. But secondly also, if we top the vines, we basically stop the growing of the potatoes, and that helps to mature the skin of the potato.
But in the past they used to do it chemically. And a lot of instances they still do it chemically, so this is just basically replacing that.
Absolutely right. Again, this is also towards less chemical usage in the field.
Awesome. And okay, so that's basically the topper, and so it's a topper. This is ons om dan nou ken. You take off the tops, and then I just want to know quickly. So then you've got the Evo 280. So what's the difference between the 260 and the 280?
So
except for the fact that these people are working in the shade and those people are working in the sun.
well, I mean, of course, the people of the Evo 260 also can work in the shade. The Evo 280 has more separators and it's a bigger machine. So if we look again as an example in South Africa, in the Sandveld you would use Evo 260. In Limpopo, Polokwane, Denron area, that is where they would use the Evo 280 because the soils are much heavier, you have more clods, you have more soil separation that you need. There you would need this machine with more capacity for separation and a higher capacity for the bunker.
And in terms of tractors that I can put in front of them, what horsepower tractors are we looking at?
Well, normally the Evo 260 is a little bit less on horsepower. You can start at 160 horsepower, and with the Evo 280 you would start at 180 to use.
So, but if I've got and I would say I always believe in overkill, so let's say 250 horsepower tractor, then I can actually sort both of these things.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, if you have more horsepower, it doesn't hurt. It's always better. So yeah.
Always better at the end of the day. And then just the last thing, in terms of spare parts, those types of things, and the service around Grimme, and I ask this to everyone. All rid of all the COVID headaches, the supply chain restructuring, all of those things. I won't have an issue from you guys.
So we have two dealers, one in the Sandveld and one in the Joburg area. We have over 20 million rand of spare parts continuously available in the country.
Yep.
We have 6 service guys working only on the Grimme equipment. We do a lot of service checks, and the farmers do a lot of service checks with our partners together before the season. So that part, service and after sales, really is one of the pluses that Grimme has in the country.
Awesome. Now listen, enjoy, Frank, thank you very much. Enjoy AGRITECHNICA. And yeah, thanks for giving me
you too, Andres. Thank you very much for coming here and that you stopped at our place. So really appreciate it, and best regards to everybody in South Africa.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Was it okay?
Was awesome. Right, so it's Frank here from Grimme at AGRITECHNICA. So if you are in the market for a potato machine, click the link top or below. You know what to do. Here from Farm Space, and remember to download our app. Do not miss a thing. Till next time, cheers.